of course, after the shot, we were totally amped. We were just full of energy. We're just soaking it all in. We're enjoying the moment.
Number 13, Furman shocked number 4, Virginia, thanks to J.P. Pegues in big board sports. Number 16, Texas A&M Corpus Christi played overall number 1 seed Alabama in the first round of the South region in Birmingham, Alabama. Islanders down 9-0 when DeLazarus Keys finally gets them on the board with that jumper. Then a little bit later, Owen Deese makes a J and the Islanders trailed 9-6. Cue up Deese again, this time from three-point range. It's good, and the Islanders are hanging tough now 19-15, but Bama slowly pulled away to lead 54-34 at halftime, and their Crimson Tide beat the Islanders 96-75. Cinderella is hanging out in the South region. Number 13 Furman versus number 4 Virginia. Paladins down 2. They force the Cavs to turn it over. Then the ball goes to J.P. Pegues, and his 3 gives Furman the lead 68-67 with 2 seconds to go. The Cavs would miss a game-winning attempt, and that's ball game. Number 13 Furman upsets Virginia 68-67, and here's your hero, Pegues.
And then as soon as I seen it going to Gary Hean's hand, I'm like, I want the ball. I feel like those are moments that I've craved my whole life, and I feel like I'm built for. So as soon as I got the ball and I seen a shot attempt that I had, I knew that all I could do at that point was just rise up and shoot it. And I had full belief that it was going in, and it did.
It did. Number 13 Furman will next play number 5 San Diego State. Number 1 in the Midwest region, the Houston Cougars will face number 16 Northern Kentucky tonight. And the big question remains, will the Cougs' leading scorer this season, Marcus Sasser, play? He suffered a groin injury last weekend.
I know how hard it is to win a game. So if the doctors think he can play, and if he wants to play, and we're not risking further injury, then he'll play. If he is, he won't. Simple as that.
Sasser is a game-time decision. Tip is set for 8:20 tonight. Keldon Johnson led the Spurs with 28 points last night in their 137-128 overtime loss to the Dallas Mavericks. Keldon's final bucket came on that sweet alley-oop jam that forced overtime. He would foul out in OT, but he certainly did everything he could to try to help the Spurs win.
He's our leader, and he leads by example. So him just fighting, like you said, to the finish line until he fouled out. He great effort. So.
Spurs will resume their 6-game homestand tomorrow night at 7 with the Grizzlies. Earlier this week, we stopped by O'Connor High School to chat with Ramon Richards during his R7 Elite Spring Camp. There's no spring break for Ramon or his 65 athletes that signed up for his performance camp. The Brackenridge High School great loves to give back and train San Antonio athletes. His motto, be great today, train like a pro with a pro.
The first thing is to develop as soon as possible. Been in LA, there are a lot of kids who are 8th grade, 9th grade who are training like pros, and out here I want to provide that. So the faster they can get developed and train like professionals, think like professionals, and move like professionals, they'll be definitely at an advantage when they get to college.
Ramon said he's going to Germany soon to work with the European Football League. Now, if you want to train with Ramon, check out his website at r7go.com.
Wow. Intense. But I'm glad they're doing this during their spring break.
Right?
Awesome. Thanks, Larry.
You're welcome.
So coming up, we'll discuss those back-to-back derailments. They have BSNF railway officials investigating where they happened and what one train was carrying that environmentalists are concerned about.
And the U.S. and Russia blaming each other over the loss of a Reaper drone in the Black Sea. But the U.S. says it has the video to back up its account of what happened. We'll have the very latest up next. Tensions between the U.S. and Russia still high after new video released by the Pentagon shows 2 Russian fighter jets interfering with the U.S. surveillance drone before forcing it into the Black Sea.
Now, Russia's military claims that its pilots did not come into contact with the unmanned aircraft. They insist that it lost control as a result of sharp maneuvering. Now, the U.S. is saying, nope, not true, and that the footage shows one of the Russian pilots colliding with the drone.
ABC's Justin Finch with the very latest from Washington.
The Pentagon releasing dramatic video of an attack by Russian warplanes on a U.S. Reaper surveillance drone officials say was flying in international airspace. The drone was damaged during the encounter and eventually was brought down in the deep waters of the Black Sea. Russia and the U.S. both eager to recover what's left of the $30 million unmanned craft.
So we are quite confident that whatever was of value is no longer of value.
U.S. officials say Russian ships are at the scene where the drone went down, with one official saying Russia has likely recovered pieces of the drone. In the Pentagon video, the Russian jets appear to spray fuel several times on the drone. Then one jet rapidly advances vertically before apparently colliding with the drone's propeller. The video breaks up, but once it clears, the propeller appears bent and damaged. Controllers able to glide the drone into the water about 20 miles away. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin holding a rare call with his Russian counterpart.
It's important that great powers be models of transparency and communication.
Russia denying it used its fighter jets to down the drone, accusing the U.S. of flying the unmanned craft in their restricted airspace. In response, the U.S. Air Force releasing a map showing 3 locations where the Reaper drone was intercepted.
The United States does not seek conflict with Russia. We do not seek escalation with Russia.
And the Pentagon underscoring that it believes the Russian pilot's actions were intentional and unsafe. But officials say it's not yet clear if the drone attack was coordinated in any way by Russian leadership. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
Now around America, yet another train derailment and another spill for BNSF Railway. This morning, some 5,000 gallons of diesel fuel spilled over onto a strip of land close to a bay in Washington state. Now, that is according to the state's Department of Ecology. No injuries have been reported. The Ecology and the Marine Spill Response Corporation are working to contain and clean up that spill. By the way, this is the third in a series of BNSF train derailments. Last night, yet another BNSF train carrying corn syrup went off the tracks near the Arizona-California border. The company says that there were no injuries and no indication that hazardous materials were involved. But last week, one of their trains went off the tracks in West Virginia. In that case, 3 crew members were injured and some diesel fuel spilled over into a nearby river.
Now to Georgia, where investigators are playing a third recording for a special grand jury of a phone call reportedly between former President Donald Trump and state officials regarding the 2020 election. That is according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution and 5 jurors who spoke anonymously to that newspaper. The special grand jury is hearing the investigation into President Trump's actions following the presidential election. In that call, he is said to be pushing the Georgia House Speaker for a special session to overturn Joe Biden's victory in the state. The special grand jury has recommended multiple indictments. It's now up to the Fulton County District Attorney whether to file any charges.
Now, after the recent shutdown of 2 major banks, U.S. officials are now working to reassure Americans to avoid other bank runs. But we're hearing now that talks are underway to rescue a third bank, and that's First Republic.
And today, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen went before the Senate Finance Committee. CNN's Ivan Rodriguez with her evaluation of the health of the nation's banks.
The shutdowns of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank shook investor confidence around the globe. Then Credit Suisse, one of Europe's largest lenders, faltering Wednesday, losing about 30% of its value before agreeing to a nearly $54 billion rescue loan from the Swiss Central Bank.
Everyone
here at home,
I can reassure the members of the committee that our banking system is sound.
Treasury Secretary Yellen on the Hill Thursday, telling the Senate Finance Committee and Americans there's no reason to panic.
This week's actions demonstrate our resolute commitment to ensure that our financial system remains strong and that depositors' savings remain safe.
President Biden also insisting there is no systematic banking risk that could cause a repeat of the 2008 meltdown.
Small businesses across the country, the deposit accounts at these banks can breathe easier knowing they'll be able to pay their workers and pay their bills.
The president says emergency measures that guarantee the deposits of SVB and Signature customers will not use taxpayer dollars. All of this reignites the debate over future rate hikes by the Federal Reserve.
Clearly, they were doing this to try to tamp down inflation, but did they consider the possibility that some institutions may not be able to handle such a rapid increase in rates?
It's critical for us to do what we can to bring inflation down and for the Fed to do its part as well.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
All right, get ready for a big change because over the next couple of hours into tonight and tomorrow, man, it's going to be a different picture out there.
Yeah, just whip out the jackets. Let's just use these next few hours to prepare for what we're going to get in the next few days, especially this weekend. Our Adam Caskey is here to tell us all about that.
Oh yeah, it's going to cool off significantly. Lower 80s today, even some 90s southwest of town in the typically warmer locations. And right now we're at 83 degrees. By 9 o'clock, 76, midnight 68, bottom falls off thereafter. 43 degrees by 6 a.m. tomorrow. Notice those rain chances really jumping. By midnight, we're up to 60%. So pretty numerous shower activity, numerous in terms of the quantity and then the coverage becoming widespread. Even the chance of some severe storms. We'll get into the primary threats, have the Futurecast and time it out for you in just a bit.
In the buzz today, a school district in Michigan has a new way to stop students from vaping on school grounds. It has installed vape sensors in their middle and high school bathrooms. Administrators say the bathrooms, that's where students are vaping the most, and it's been hard to monitor those areas. The district says it has been upfront with students and parents and told them about those vape detectors.
Now, the sensors don't use any cameras because they want to maintain privacy for the students and staff. But besides vaping, the sensors can also detect marijuana and aggression. I have a question about that. How is that possible? If you yell, I don't know. If students are caught by the new vaping sensors, the school has a first offense probation program in partnership with local police. The program then reaches out to parents and provides education and drug testing. Administrators say that the sensors have successfully reduced the number of vaping reports at school.
Okay, the blob, it's supposed to be science fiction, but this blob of seaweed washing up on beaches in Florida is very real. Take a look here. There is so much of this seaweed that it can actually be seen from space. That's what you're looking at.
Whoa.
The European Space Agency is sharing this satellite image.
Yeah, it's not one giant mass, but rather a slew of those teardrop-shaped blobs that stretch over 60 miles in the Atlantic Ocean. Another image shows two stretches over the Caribbean Sea, spanning about 7 miles. Look at that. You don't want to deal with that. Most of the seaweed is still hundreds of miles from the U.S., but some is off the coast of Key Largo right now. If too much of it comes on shore, it can overwhelm the beaches like that, rot on the sand, and also give off a really bad smell. And if you've smelled it, it's not good. I was in Corpus Christi for a few years, and it happened all the time.
Same here, girl.
Yeah, now scientists with NASA very excited after discovering something new on Venus. When studying some old images, they discovered evidence of volcanic activity. NASA's Magellan spacecraft captured images of the planet's surface in the early 1990s, and scientists looking back over the decades-old images saw something, a volcanic vent.
Now, they say the volcano shape got much bigger over the span of 8 months. The finding is the first direct geological evidence of recent volcanic activity on the surface of Venus. Okay, you remember those long necks in the movie The Land Before Time? Well, paleontologists think that they have identified the longest necked member of Littlefoot's family. This plant-eating sauropod has a neck that could extend 10 feet beyond a school bus, and a scientific name that is just as long, so we're not going to say it. The creature's almost 50-foot neck might be a record holder, according to a new analysis in the Journal of Systematic Paleontology yesterday.
Now, scientists are saying that they inferred the length using 3 preserved vertebrae, computerized topography, and also comparisons to similar dinosaurs. Experts say that the animal's bones were hollow, like those of birds, and that probably helped it support its neck. Paleontologists believe that dinosaur lived in what's now China some 162 million years ago. Really cool stuff.
Those were always the dinosaurs I picked for reports, in elementary school. When
Why?
You had to pick one.
No T-Rex?
No T-Rex.
Didn't impress you?
I liked the ones with the long necks.
Okay.
Brontosaurus back in the day. I don't know if that name has changed.
Stegosaurus.
Right? Anyway. But.
Hi, Adam.
Something that is changing. Lots of weather. We got storms and then a lot colder temperatures. So question I have, Caskey, are we talking wrap the pipes, cover the plants, all of that kind of stuff?
No.
Okay.
Pipes are going to be A-OK.
That's good.
Into the hill country, plants, yeah, you could have some issues because in the hill country, we could have a brief light freeze, even a couple of them over the weekend in the morning hours. But the rest of us outside of the hill country, you don't have to worry about the plants. Pipes will be fine for everybody as well. Take a look at, hold on, let me go back here. There's a look at those morning low temperatures that we're expecting. 42 tomorrow morning, 36 in San Antonio Saturday morning, Sunday only 40, and then by Monday, 38 for the low temperature. And it's always a little bit cooler in the hill country where we could have a brief freeze on those chilly mornings. Here's the big picture of what's going on. Here's the cold front that's plunging southward. A lot of moisture with this. Showers, thunderstorms, even snow indicated by the blue colors here on the back side of it, on the cold side of it. And severe weather in parts of north and east Texas here where you see these red outlines, those polygons, those are the tornado watch boxes, meaning conditions favorable for a few tornadoes to develop. That's out of our area. But what we're looking at around here is that severe weather threat to move into our area later on tonight. Here's our future cast. It's not perfect, but I do think it's really the best representation of what we have and what we can expect through the night tonight. Midnight, 1 a.m. That's when the showers and storms start to flare up, and we'll notice them around San Antonio. May even wake you up. If the kids get spooked by the thunder and lightning at night, well, be prepared for that or if your pets get spooked, because by midnight, 1 a.m., we'll have it developing. And then it's going to come and go through 3 a.m., 4 a.m., even 5 a.m. Numerous showers and storms, embedded downpours, and some embedded wind gusts up to 60, 70 miles per hour. But notice as we go through the morning commute, the rain really isn't quite as persistent. It's still going to be cloudy and the ground's going to be wet. You'll have road spray on the roads, wet roadways, but actual falling rain still out there, just not as widespread. 9 a.m., just some hit or miss little downpours left over. Primary threats tonight, yes, there will be a lot of lightning and thunder. That's not considered severe. But in terms of severe threats, straight line winds, 60 miles per hour possibly, maybe even up to 70 in spots, and then damaging hail. Those are the two primary threats. And when I say damaging hail, 1 to 2 inches in diameter in a few localized areas, we could have that size of hail. 1 inch diameter is considered damaging, damage causing, that's about the size of a quarter. I wish I could tell you exactly where it's going to hail and what neighborhood it's going to hit, but unfortunately we can't until that hail making storm develops. So that 70% chance tonight, then we get into Friday during the day, drops down to 30% chance of showers and storms. We ramp up the rain chance again Friday night into Saturday morning, and that's when we could have a little bit of wet snow mixed in. Basically just white rain. No impacts and no accumulations, not affecting the roadways, but up in the hill country, Saturday morning, you could have a little frosting on the grass. Just a little bit. Looks like frosted mini wheats is that kind of snow. You're wearing just the grass blades that are sticking up just enough. You get a little bit of frosting on them. Anyway, let's talk about the cold front. 92 Cotulla. 83 New Braunfels in San Antonio, but check this out. 44 in Lubbock, 33 Amarillo, 39 in Oklahoma City. That cold front is plunging southward. It hits at midnight, triggering those storms and kicking up the wind. Non-thunderstorm winds gusting up to 45 miles per hour, 2, 3 a.m., even some 40 mile per hour gusts through tomorrow morning. So windy day tomorrow. Steady north wind at 15 to 25. Those rain chances tapering off late morning through the afternoon, but from 42 in the morning to a high of only 52 degrees. That's the best that we can do tomorrow. Saturday and Sunday, we're right near 50. And then Monday, a high temperature of 47. We don't get back into the 70s until Wednesday. Overall, this is going to be a good soaking. Think of it that way. It's going to be cool and uncomfortable and damp and cloudy for several days, but we will get some much needed rain, 1 to 2 inches in many locations. I know, with all this weather to talk about, it's almost easy to forget that it's Thermometer Thursday, and it's been a little while. I had some video for you, but we ran out of time, so we'll get to that video coming up next week. But I do have a winner for you. I do. And today's winner, Glenda Martin of New Braunfels. The Glenda Martin, I'll be sending an email to just within the next couple of minutes. Go to KSAT.com/thermometer to enter the drawing.
Congratulations, Glenda. Mm-hmm. All right.
Luckily, it goes cold enough for this weekend.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, Adam. We'll be right back. You will see some of Kellogg's most popular snacks under 2 different spin-off company names later this year. They are the WK Kellogg Company and Kelnova. The WK Kellogg Company name is a nod to the founder, William Keith Kellogg. Under its name will be the North American cereal brands like Frosted Flakes and Fruit Loops. Kellanova combines Kellogg and the Latin word nova, which means new. Under that name will be Pringles and Cheez-Its, as well as international cereal brands. Both companies will be publicly traded.
Now, McCormick, the top-selling maker of seasonings and spices, is giving its iconic red top bottles a makeover for the first time in 40 years, so your spice cabinet's going to look a little different. Spice bottles are now going to have new snap caps. So McCormick says the new caps are going to keep ingredients fresher and let you hear when the containers are properly closed. Because you know when they go stale, they're just no longer good. Yeah, the company says that home chefs should notice brighter herbs and spices, also stronger smells. The new bottles of some of its popular spices like cinnamon and red pepper are already hitting store shelves around the country. And we'll be.
That is all our time here at 6 o'clock. Thanks for watching.
Download our KSAT weather app, by the way, and we'll see you right back here on the Night Beat. Good night.